Hey guys, my name's Brody and this is my quick little video that I've done for the 3 passes trek that I completed with my partner in September of 2025. September can be a bit hit and miss with weather. We were quite lucky with our trip. We didn't get any rain until the last couple of days when we were hiking back from Namche. We flew into Lukla, once again really lucky with some of their flights being cancelled. And as you can see here, we've just been making our way up the valley, which has been so far not too bad, getting up past 3,500, 4,000 meters. And you can see here that the tree foliage really starts to drop away as you get to that sub-alpine level, but the views are immaculate no matter where you go. We decided to go with a guide for this. We've got a lot of experience in multi-day hiking, camping, but being from Australia, we don't have as much skills in subalpine and alpine environments. 7 days into our trek, and with some acclimatization under our belt, we got to our first pass, the Kongmala, at 5,545 meters. The entire day, from Chukung up to the pass and back down to Labushe, was 11 kilometers and quite an exhausting day. This was the first really physically and mentally challenging day of the trip so far. The first pass, we didn't have much knowledge of what it was going to be like, and each step we were noticing how much more energy we were needing to exhaust just to get up this mountain. Fortunately, neither of us showed any signs of altitude sickness on this trip, but we were noticing that the decreased levels of oxygen at these elevations was making it more tiring each step that we were taking and the higher that we were going. We were really fortunate to have incredible views the entire day, and for the weather to hold off so that we were able to eat lunch on top of the pass and spend a bit more time up there. It was really nice seeing all the mountains around us, especially Amida Blum, which is a personal favourite of mine, and being able to look down on either side of the pass, seeing the valley we just climbed up, and all the way down to Labushe where we'd be staying that night. The next few days involved hiking up to Gorakshep, going to Everest Base Camp, and then doing an early morning hike up Kalapatar to see Everest at sunrise. It was around this point that we were noticing a lot more people on the trail. Doing the 3 passes, you avoid a lot of the foot traffic of the people going up to Everest Base Camp and back, with a lot of the nights us noticing we were the only people staying at those particular tea houses. Because we were now seeing more and more people on the trek, we were noticing more people experiencing altitude sickness, and this meant that they were having to cut their trips short or miss out on things like climbing Kalapatar to see Everest at sunrise. I definitely would recommend for anyone who hasn't been to this region before to bring some sort of medication that will help with altitude sickness, just because you don't want to risk having to miss out or cut your trip short because of getting unwell. After doing our sunrise hike up Kalapatar to see Everest, we then had breakfast at Gorakshep and then continued with our 11-kilometer hike to our tea house in Zongla, where we would stay the nights before our second pass, Chola Pass, at 5,420 meters. With a fair amount of acclimatization under our belt at this point, the hike up to the second pass feels a lot easier on the body. The last section of the climb, however, is over a glacier where you do need crampons, and this section becomes quite tiring very quickly. Once again, we're off the Everest Base Camp trek now, and you'll notice a lot less people in these areas because of that, which means you'll get a lot more time just to yourselves or with a couple people at the peaks where we were able to have lunch and enjoy the view before it got too cold and we made our way down the other side. We did opt to carry our own gear. As I mentioned earlier, we had a guide with us, but we chose to not hire porters, which was fine for most of the trek, besides sections like this where we were crossing glaciers, which were quite challenging at times with a big pack on our back. After a couple of days, we finally made our way to Gokyo and the Gokyo Lakes before making our big steep climb up to Renjola Pass at 5,360 meters. This was probably the easier of the 3 passes, probably due to our acclimatization at this point, where we then continued down the other side and back out of the valley, completing our trek on the 3 passes. Whilst it's a hard hike, I definitely would recommend it for anyone who's wanting to experience some passes in the Everest region.